The scent of pine and crushed frost clings to the air, a clean, sharp smell that does little to mask the cloying perfume of desperation rising from the she-wolves around me. I keep my head down, my hands methodically polishing the same silver goblet for the third time. My status as an Omega affords me this small mercy. I am a ghost, a shadow flitting along the edges of the great hall, tasked with serving while the pack celebrates. Tonight is the annual Meta ceremony, the night the moon blesses us, the night our Alpha might finally choose his Luna. Hope is a dangerous, intoxicating scent, and tonight, the hall is thick with it. It makes my throat tight. I am Ilara, and I am Wolfless. In a world defined by the beast within, I am an empty vessel, a flaw, a broken thing. My parents, before they were lost to a border skirmish, were strong betas. They left me with their scent, a fading memory of comfort and strength, but not their wolf. The pack elders say it is a curse, a sign of weakness in our line that has finally manifested. The pack's alpha, Kale, has never looked at me with anything but disdain. He sees what they all see, a burden, so I serve. I make myself useful, my silence a shield, my obedience a plea for tolerance. My own hope is a tiny, withered thing I keep locked deep inside my chest. I, too, can feel the pull of the moon, the primal hum in my blood that speaks of mates and bonds, even without a wolf to give it a voice. I dream of a scent that is meant only for me, a pair of eyes that will look at me and see not a flaw, but a future. It is a foolish, childish dream, and I know it. No one would choose the wolfless girl. More wine, Omega, a sharp voice cuts through my thoughts. It is Lyra, a high-ranking warrior whose amber scent is spiked with ambition. She holds her goblet out without looking at me, her eyes fixed on the dais where Alpha Kale sits. Yes, Lyra, I murmur, my voice barely a whisper. I take the heavy pitcher and refill her cup, my movements practiced and invisible. My gaze, against my better judgment, drifts to the Alpha. Kyle is the very picture of power, broad-shouldered and radiating an aura of absolute command. He is everything an Alpha should be. His scent dominates the hall, a heady mix of storm-charged air, ancient forests, and something uniquely his, a trace of burning embers that promises both warmth and destruction. It calls to something in me, a deep, resonant chord that has no business vibrating. His inner beast, a massive black wolf I have seen on pack runs, is a legend, a creature of raw power and brutal efficiency. He is a king on his throne, observing the hopeful she-wolves with a cool, assessing gaze. Tonight, the moon goddess will guide him. Her light, streaming through the high-arched windows of the hall, seems to make the air shimmer. The elders begin a low, rumbling chant, their voices weaving a tapestry of ancient tradition. The she-wolves straighten their spines, their scents flaring with nervous excitement, rose petals, sweet cream, summer rain, 100 different perfumes vying for attention. I shrink further into the shadows, the polishing cloth a flimsy anchor in a sea of overwhelming sensation. My job is to be unseen, unheard. But then, it happens. A shift in the air, a current of energy that has nothing to do with the elders' chant. The moon goddess's blessing descends, not as a gentle wash, but as a focused, undeniable beam of silver light. It does not land on Lyra or any of the other preening, perfect she-wolves. It lands on me. For a heart-stopping second, the world goes silent. The cacophony of scents, sounds, and nervous energy vanishes, replaced by a singular, overwhelming wave. It is the scent of storm and embers, Kale's scent, but magnified 1,000 times. It crashes over me, into me, flooding every empty space within my soul. It is not just a smell, it is a declaration. It screams a single, impossible word: mate. My blood turns to fire. My knees weaken, and the silver goblet slips from my numb fingers, clattering onto the stone floor with a deafening clang. Every head in the hall swivels towards me, and across the room, I see Kale has risen to his feet, his chair scraping harshly against the stone. His eyes, the color of molten gold, are locked on mine. I see shock in them, confusion, and then a dawning, soul-shattering horror. The bond is a two-way street. If I can smell him, feel him as the other half of my soul, then he must feel it too. For one beautiful, terrible second, I see the raw, primal recognition in his face. His wolf, I can feel it, is clawing at the surface, desperate to answer the call. Mate, a voice that is not my own whispers in the back of my mind. It is a foreign sensation, a ghost of an instinct I should not possess. Hope, that treacherous, foolish thing, blooms violently in my chest. It is me. The goddess chose me, the Wolfless Omega. It is a miracle, a destiny I never dared to imagine. I stare at him, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs, my entire being reaching for him across the stunned silence of the room. But the moment shatters. Kale's face twists, the raw shock hardening into a mask of cold fury and disgust. The beautiful, possessive scent of storm and embers sours, turning acrid with rejection. It is like a physical blow, stealing the air from my lungs. No, he says, his voice a low growl that cuts through the silence like a blade. The word is not for me. It is for himself, for his own beast that is roaring in protest. He takes a step forward, his eyes never leaving mine. The entire pack holds its breath, watching. This is the moment, the recognition. He stalks towards me, each step deliberate and heavy. The hope in my chest fights against the cold dread that is beginning to seep into my bones. He will not. He cannot. The goddess chose. The bond is sacred. He stops just before me, close enough that I cannot feel the heat radiating from his body, close enough that his soured scent burns my nostrils. He looks down at me, his lip curled. You. He spits the word, and it is an insult. The goddess makes a mistake. A collective gasp ripples through the hall. Whispers erupt like wildfire. My world narrows to his face, to the utter contempt in his golden eyes. The bond, a fragile, shimmering thread that had just formed between us, begins to fray, sending splinters of agony through my soul. I, Kale, Alpha of the Black Moon Pack, he declares, his voice booming with formal authority, ensuring every single member is a witness. Reject you. He does not say my name. I am not worthy of a name. I reject this bond. I will not be shackled to a weak, wolfless Omega. You are nothing. You are a flaw in the bloodline, a disgrace to this pack. Each word is a hammer blow, shattering the impossible dream that had lived for only a few precious seconds. The pain is physical, a searing agony that starts in my chest and spreads through my limbs, making me tremble. It is the pain of a soul being torn in half, publicly, viscerally. The whispers in the hall turn to jeers and murmurs of agreement. Wolfless. He is right. She would have weakened us. Their scorn is 1,000 tiny cuts, adding to the gaping wound he has just inflicted. I cannot breathe. My eyes burn, but I refuse to let the tears fall. I will not give him the satisfaction. I lift my chin, meeting his gaze, letting him see the devastation he has wrought. For a flicker of a second, I see a flash of something in his eyes. pain, his own beast recoiling from the trauma he is inflicting. But it is gone as quickly as it appears, replaced by cold, hard resolve. He is the Alpha. His word is law even, it seems, above the goddesses. My pack requires a strong Luna, he continues, his voice devoid of all emotion now. One who can shift, fight, and bear strong, pure-blooded heirs. You are fit for none of that. You are a useless burden, and your presence here has become an insult to our strength. He turns his head, addressing his beta, a grim-faced wolf named Marcus. She has tainted this sacred ceremony. She is an omen of weakness we must excise. A cold, terrifying premonition snakes down my spine. This is more than a rejection. A rejected mate is usually allowed to live a lonely life in the human world, or seek refuge with a distant pack. But the look on Kyle's face is not one of dismissal. It is one of eradication. The pit of the unclaimed, Kyle says, and the words fall like stones into a grave. A wave of genuine terror washes through the hall. Even the she-wolves who were just sneering at me look horrified. The pit is not just a prison. It is a death sentence. It is a deep, dark chasm at the edge of our territory, where we throw the feral, the mad, the wolves who have lost their humanity to incurable sickness or battle rage. They are no longer pack. They are monsters, the unclaimed. Nothing thrown into the pit ever comes out. They tear each other apart in the darkness. Alpha, no. Marcus, his beta, speaks, his voice low and urgent. She is wolfless, but she is not feral. It is not a just sentence. Is she not flawed? Broken? Kale snaps, his gaze sweeping the room, daring anyone else to challenge him. Her weakness is a sickness of its own. I will not have it festering in my pack. My decision is final. He looks back at me, his face a mask of iron. The man I thought was my other half, my destiny, is sentencing me to be torn limb from limb by monsters. Throw her in. 2 guards seize my arms. Their touch is rough, impersonal. The pain of the broken bond is so immense, I can barely feel their fingers digging into my flesh. I am being dragged. My feet stumble on the stone floor. I pass Lyra, and I see a flicker of triumph in her eyes. I pass the elders, and they look away, their faces grim but unwilling to defy their alpha. I am being pulled from the warmth and light of the hall towards the cold, dark fate he has decreed. As they drag me through the doors and into the cold night air, my eyes find his one last time. The bond, though rejected and broken, still pulses between us, a conduit of pure agony. I push all my pain, all my betrayal, all my shattered hope down that link. I want him to feel it. I want it to haunt him. He flinches. His hand goes to his chest, and for a moment, his alpha mask cracks. I see a man choking on his own cruelty. But it is too late. The guards haul me through the forest. The sounds of the celebration fade, replaced by the chirping of crickets and the rustle of my own feet being dragged through the dirt. The air grows colder, fouler. I can smell it now, the scent of the pit. It is a charnel house stench of old blood, decay, and utter madness. It is the smell of forgotten souls. They stop at the edge of a vast, dark maw in the earth. A crude wooden barrier is all that separates the path from the abyss. One of the guards, a younger wolf I have seen on patrol, looks at me with something like pity. The other is impassive. "I'm sorry," the young one mutters, unable to meet my eyes. I say nothing. There is nothing left to say. My life, which had soared to an impossible height only to be dashed to pieces, is over. They shove me forward. The flimsy barrier is moved aside. For a second, I teeter on the edge, the foul air rising up to greet me. Then, a final, brutal push. I fall. The world is just rushing air and the sickening lurch in my stomach. The opening of the pit shrinks above me, a distant square of moonlit sky. And then there is only darkness. The impact is jarring, a full-body collision with hard, unforgiving earth. Pain explodes in my shoulder and ribs. I cry out, the sound swallowed by the oppressive silence of the chasm. For a moment, I lie there, stunned, gasping for breath that smells of rot and wet fur. This is it. Rock bottom. The end. Then I hear it. A low growl echoing from the darkness to my left. Another answers it from my right. The rustling is not the wind. It is the sound of bodies shifting, of claws scraping on stone. Yellow eyes, pairs of them, ignite in the gloom surrounding me. They are the unclaimed, the monsters. They have been waiting for fresh meat. Fear, cold and absolute, finally cuts through the agony of the bond. I try to scramble backwards, but my body screams in protest. A huge, dark shape detaches itself from the shadows. It is a wolf, but one that is horribly wrong. Its fur is matted with filth and old blood. One of its ears is torn away, and a low, continuous growl rumbles from its chest, a sound of pure, mindless rage. Its scent is a nightmare of sickness and pain. It stalks closer, its head low, its yellow eyes fixated on me. I can smell its diseased breath. This is the beast that will kill me. I close my eyes, bracing for the inevitable crush of its jaws. I think of Kyle, and a final bitter wave of hatred and despair washes through me. But the attack never comes. Instead, I feel something strange. A flicker, deep inside me, in the place where my wolf should be, in that void of emptiness, something stirs. It is not a wolf's growl. It is something older, quieter, a deep, resonant hum. It uncoils like a sleeping serpent woken by the proximity of these broken creatures. Mine? The thought is not a thought. It is an instinct, a feeling, a primal designation that blossoms in the core of my being. The feral wolf before me stops. It whines, a high, confused sound. The maddened growl in its chest falters. It cocks its scarred head, its yellow eyes blinking. The scent of its rage is being soothed, neutralized by a power I do not understand, a power coming from me. Slowly, I open my eyes. The monstrous wolf is still there, but its posture has changed. The aggression has bled away, replaced by a strange, wary curiosity. The other pairs of eyes in the darkness have not vanished. They have drawn closer, forming a silent circle around me. They are not advancing to attack. They are watching, waiting. A different wolf, smaller and gray, limps forward. Its leg is twisted at an unnatural angle. Its scent is thick with chronic pain. It stops a few feet away and lets out a low, mournful howl. It is not a threat. It is a lament. And the power inside me answers. It flows out of me, not as a command, but as a balm. It is a wave of pure, undiluted empathy. I can feel their pain. The gray wolf's agony from its shattered leg. The black wolf's madness, born of a fever that cooked its mind. The sorrow of a she-wolf in the back, grieving for a lost pup. Their suffering is a cacophony, and this new strange part of me wants to quiet it. Hush, the power seems to whisper, though I make no sound. Peace. The great black wolf, the one that was about to rip my throat out, takes a hesitant step forward. It lowers its head, and then, in a gesture so contrary to its monstrous appearance that it makes my breath catch, It nudges my hand with its wet nose. It is a gesture of submission, of supplication. One by one, the other wolves follow suit. They creep from the shadows, their forms mangled and scarred, their scents a testament to their torment. But the madness is gone from their eyes. They approach me not as prey, but as their center, their anchor. The gray wolf lies down, resting its head on its paws, its mournful gaze fixed on me. I am lying, broken and rejected, in a pit of monsters. But they are not trying to kill me. The first rays of dawn begin to pierce the darkness, filtering down from the mouth of the pit. In the growing light, I see them clearly for the first time. A dozen, maybe more, of the most terrifying, broken creatures I have ever imagined, and they are all gathered around me. Some are lying down, some are sitting. The great black one stands sentinel beside me. They are kneeling. By sunrise, the monsters are kneeling around me, and I realize, with a dawning, terrifying clarity, that I was never wolfless. I am something else entirely. The next few months are a blur of discovery, a strange rebirth in the belly of the earth. The unclaimed, my unclaimed, become my pack. I learn their names not through speech, but through feeling, through the unique signature of their pain and spirit that my power touches. The great black wolf is Fen. The gray one with the shattered leg is Reese. The grieving she-wolf is Liana. They are not monsters. They are simply broken, and the strange, quiet authority within me is the first thing that has ever been able to reach them past their madness and agony. My own body heals. My shoulder knits with a speed that is not quite human, and my cracked ribs mend under the watchful eyes of my new guard. Fen rarely leaves my side, his presence a constant, warm weight. Reese, despite his pain, brings me water from a trickling spring deep in the network of caves that branch off from the main chasm. Liana, whose grief begins to slowly recede under the balm of my presence, shows me where edible fungi grow in the damp dark. They care for me, they protect me, they revere me, and my power grows. It is a quiet, deep well inside me. It is not the boisterous, aggressive power of a wolf, but something far more fundamental. It is the power of command, yes, but also of healing. I spend my days sitting with them, my hand resting on Reese's twisted leg, pouring my energy not to mend the bone. It is too old and poorly set for that, but to soothe the endless, grinding pain. I sit with Fen, my fingers buried in his coarse fur, and I feel the fever in his mind, a chaotic tangle of rage and fear. My power acts like a gentle hand, slowly untangling the knots, bringing him long moments of quiet lucidity. I am not wolfless. I am a prime. The name comes to me in a flash of intuition, a piece of ancient knowledge bubbling up from the well of my power. A prime does not become a wolf. A prime commands them. It is an older magic, a deeper one, the magic from which the first wolves were supposedly born. It is a bloodline thought to be extinct for millennia, and it lives in me, the wolfless Omega girl. The irony is so bitter, it almost makes me laugh. Kale cast me away for the very thing that makes me infinitely more powerful than he could ever dream of being. We transform the pit. It is no longer a charnel house. With my pack's help, we clear the filth. We explore the caves. We establish a territory. The unclaimed are not just mindless beasts. They are skilled survivors. They know the dark as no surface wolf ever could. They become my eyes, my ears, my warriors. Their madness recedes, replaced by a fierce, unwavering loyalty to me. I am their alpha, their queen. I give them purpose, and they give me a family. One day, a new wolf is thrown into the pit. He is young, barely an adult, his mind shattered by a traumatic battle. He lands in a heap, snarling and snapping at anything that comes near. My wolves hold back, looking to me for guidance. I approach him slowly, alone. He lunges for me, his fangs bared. Enough, the power inside me commands, and for the first time, I let it out with focused intent. The word echoes in the chasm, not as a sound, but as a wave of pure authority. The young wolf freezes mid-lunge, his body trembling. The rage in his eyes is replaced by confusion, and then by awe. He whimpers and collapses at my feet, tucking his tail between his legs in a gesture of ultimate submission. I place a hand on his head, and the frantic terror in his mind quiets to a manageable hum. He will heal. He will join us. He is one of mine now. It is in that moment that I understand the true scope of my power. It is not just about soothing the broken. It is about command. It is absolute. And with that realization, the last vestiges of the meek, frightened Omega Girl die. I am Ilara, the prime alpha, queen of the unclaimed, and I am no longer hiding in the darkness. We are building a kingdom, and sooner or later, the surface world will have to take notice. We find a new soul among the caves one day. Not one thrown from above, but one who stumbled in from a collapsed tunnel leading to the surface far beyond Kale's territory. His name is Lyran. He is a rogue, belonging to no pack, his scent a mild and gentle mix of riverstone and mint. He is not broken or mad, just lost. My wolves surround him, ready to tear him apart as an intruder, but I call them off. Lyran is not like the others. He has a calm, steady presence, and his eyes, a clear, intelligent gray, hold no fear when he looks at me. They hold only a quiet wonder. Who? What are you? He asks, his voice raspy from thirst. I am Ilara, I say, and my voice, practiced now in commanding my beasts, holds a new weight. This is my territory. You are a guest here. Lyran becomes a permanent fixture in our subterranean court. He is kind where Kale was cruel. He is patient where Kale was demanding. He looks at me and sees a queen, not a flaw. He helps me organize my growing pack, his logical mind a perfect complement to my intuitive power. He teaches me about the world outside the pack I grew up in, about politics, about the other alphas, about the rising threat of strange, shadowy creatures that have been sighted on the fringes of the known territories. He calls them the soulless. He never pushes, never demands. He simply offers his quiet companionship, his steady respect. His scent of stone and mint becomes a comfort, a symbol of the peace and safety I have built for myself. He is a good man, a good wolf. He represents a life I could have, a logical choice, a safe one. And for a time, I allow myself to consider it. The ache of the broken bond with Kyle has faded to a dull phantom pain, a scar I no longer touch. Lyran offers a future without scars. I am content in my kingdom of darkness and forgotten things. I have power. I have a family. I have respect. I want for nothing. Or so I tell myself. My name is Kyle, and I am haunted. It has been 6 months since the Métis ceremony. 6 months since I looked into her eyes and saw my destiny. 6 months since I spat on it, broke it, and threw it into a pit to be devoured. My wolf has not let me forget, not for one single second. He is a constant, raging storm inside me. Where we were once one, a perfect union of man and beast, we are now at war. He claws at my insides, a relentless, punishing agony. Mate is gone. He snarls in my mind day and night. You killed her. You killed us. I cannot sleep. When I close my eyes, I see her face. The shock, the devastation, the final searing look of hatred she sent down the bond before she fell. And the pain. Gods, the pain. When I rejected her, I tore my own soul. It is a gaping, festering wound that will not heal. I feel it with every breath, a hollow emptiness where she should be. My duties as alpha have turned to ash in my mouth. I am volatile, my temper a short fuse. My pack feels it. The security of my leadership has been replaced by a tense, fearful uncertainty. My scent, once a commanding presence of storm and forest, is now tainted with the sourness of my self-loathing and the constant, agonizing ache for a mate I can never have. I tried once. Lyra, smelling of ambition and amber, offered herself to me, her body warm and willing. The moment she touched me, my wolf reacted with such violent revulsion that I threw her across the room. Her scent was a disgusting perfume covering the stench of wrongness. She was not her. No one is. No one ever will be. The scent of jasmine and moonlight, that was her scent. Faint, delicate, but it had called to me, to my wolf, with the force of a tidal wave. For one perfect, terrible moment, I had felt complete. And then my pride, my arrogance, my fear had taken over. A wolfless Luna? The other alphas would laugh. My bloodline, which I had been taught to prize above all else, would be weakened. My father's voice was a poison in my ear, whispering of duty, of strength, of ruthlessness. And so I was ruthless. I was a monster. I visit the pit sometimes. I stand at the edge, hidden in the trees, and I stare into the darkness. I tell myself I'm ensuring the beasts within are contained, but I am lying. I am drawn by the ghost of her, by the last place she was alive. The air rising from it should smell of death and madness, but it has changed. The stench is gone, replaced by something clean, something vital. It smells of damp earth, of strange fungi, and underneath it all, a faint, tantalizing trace of something powerful and female. It is not her scent of jasmine, but it calls to the broken bond inside me all the same, a siren song from the depths of hell. My beta, Marcus, watches me with worried eyes. The soulless have been sighted at the southern border, Alpha, he tells me one morning. They killed a patrol. They are getting bolder. I know he is right. These shadow creatures, things of nightmare that feed on despair, are being drawn to my territory. They are drawn to my weakness, to the instability that radiates from my broken soul. I am failing my pack. The strength I prized so highly, the strength for which I sacrificed her, is draining away from me like sand through my fingers. My wolf howls in my head, a sound of pure misery. She was our strength, he cries, and you threw her away. I grip the edge of the table, my knuckles white, the wood groaning under the pressure. He is right. He is always right. The wolfless girl I deemed a flaw was my other half, my power, my future, and I destroyed her for nothing. Now, my entire pack may pay the price for my monstrous pride. My suffering is my justice, but it is a cold comfort when I realize it may not be enough to save us. The first breach happens not at the borders of my territory, but from within. A tremor shakes the ground, and a section of the forest floor near the pit collapses, revealing a new, gaping entrance into the chasm below. With it comes a sound, a chorus of howls, unlike any I have ever heard. They are not the mindless rage of the feral. They are controlled, disciplined, a war cry from the new opening. Things begin to emerge, but they are not the soulless my scouts have described. They are wolves, the unclaimed, but they are changed. Their fur is clean. Their eyes are not mad, but fiercely intelligent. And they move with the coordinated grace of a trained war party. They form a defensive perimeter around the opening, their growls a clear warning to the warriors I have sent to investigate. And then, she rises from the darkness. The world stops. It is her, Ilara. But it is not the meek, frightened girl I threw into the dark. This woman is a queen. She is dressed in dark, supple leathers I do not recognize. Her hair is longer, braided with what look like silver threads, and her face, once soft and uncertain, is now carved from granite. She moves with a fluid grace, an aura of absolute power clinging to her like a shroud. She is flanked by the most terrifying wolf I have ever seen, a massive black beast covered in scars, its yellow eyes burning with possessive loyalty. My warriors fall back, their own wolves whining in submission before a power they do not understand. Marcus is at my side, his scent thick with disbelief. By the goddess, he breathes. It's her. I cannot breathe. My wolf, the beast who has been my tormentor for months, goes utterly silent. And then he surges, not with rage, but with a desperate, soul-shattering cry of pure, unadulterated joy. Mate. She lives. The bond, the broken, agonizing thing that has been a source of constant pain, explodes. It reignites with the force of a supernova, 1,000 times more potent than it was at the ceremony. It is no longer a frayed thread. It is a steel cable, humming with a power that drops me to one knee. Agony and ecstasy war within me. She is alive, and she is magnificent, and she hates me. I can feel it pulsing down the bond, a cold, clear wave of utter contempt that is more painful than any physical blow. Her eyes, the color of twilight amethyst, sweep over my warriors and then land on me. There is no shock in them, no surprise, only a cold, hard recognition. She knew I would be here. Alpha Kyle, she says, and my name on her lips is not an endearment. It is a judgment. Her voice is deeper than I remember, laced with an authority that rivals my own alpha command. It sends a shiver down my spine that is equal parts fear and a desperate, primal longing. I force myself to my feet, my body trembling with the sheer force of the rekindled bond. Ilara, I manage to choke out her name. It feels like a prayer on my tongue. That is not my name, she says, her voice like ice. Not anymore. I am the Prime Alpha, and this is the territory of the unclaimed. Prime Alpha? The term is archaic, a legend from a forgotten age. It refers to a mythical ruler of wolves, a creature of origin. It cannot be. But as I look at her, at the absolute obedience of the scarred beasts surrounding her, at the raw power that radiates from her very being, I know it is true. The flaw I cast away was in fact a power greater than my own. The goddess did not make a mistake. I did. A catastrophic, world-altering mistake. Your surface world is in danger, she continues, her gaze unwavering. The soulless are coming. They are drawn to the weakness in your pack, a weakness, I suspect, that originates with you. Her words are a direct hit, a confirmation of every self-hating thought I have had for months. Suddenly, a new scent cuts through the air, riverstone and mint. A tall, gray-eyed wolf steps out of the chasm to stand at her side. He is not one of the unclaimed. He is whole, healthy, and he places a proprietary hand on her arm. His gaze on me is cool and challenging. The gesture sends a wave of pure, Black jealousy through me, so potent it makes me growl, a low, guttural sound of possession that I cannot control. Ours, my wolf snarls, his rage finally returning. But this time, it is not directed at me. It is directed at the wolf touching our mate. Ilara's eyes narrow at my growl. She does not pull away from the other male's touch. If anything, she leans into it, a deliberate, cruel twist of the knife. "This is Lyran, my beta," she says, her voice dangerously soft. "He is a better advisor than any I knew above ground." The insult is clear. The challenge is laid. She is not the broken girl I sent to her death. She is a rival power, an empress who has risen from the ashes of my cruelty. And the bond between us is now a battlefield, a conduit for her righteous fury and my desperate, hopeless regret. She has returned, and the entire foundation of my world has cracked beneath my feet. I am the alpha of the Black Moon Pack, but as I stand before her, I feel like a beggar. And I know, with a certainty that chills me to the bone, that I will have to crawl through fire and glass just to earn the right to speak her name. An uneasy truce is forged from necessity. The soulless are a threat we cannot ignore. They are not like us, creatures of flesh, blood, and spirit. They are voids, animated by a malevolent hunger for life force, their forms shifting and indistinct like living shadows. They pour from the dark places of the world, and Ilara's scouts report that a massive horde is gathering, drawn to the combined energy of our two packs. They will destroy my people, and then they will pour into her subterranean kingdom to devour her own. We have no choice but to form an alliance. This means forced proximity. It is a special kind of hell. We meet in a clearing between our territories to plan, my betas and warriors on one side, her scarred, silent, unclaimed on the other, and in the middle, we stand, the alpha who threw her away, and the queen who rose from the pit. Every moment in her presence is torment. The bond hums between us, a constant current of sensation. I am hyper-aware of everything about her. The way her amethyst eyes darken when she is concentrating on a map, the subtle scent of damp earth, and that indefinable, powerful essence that is uniquely hers. The way she holds herself with a stillness that speaks of immense, controlled power. She is the center of my universe, and I am nothing but a ghost at the edge of her vision. She is cold, not with fiery anger, but with a deep, glacial indifference that is far more painful. She addresses her comments to Marcus, my beta, or to Lyran, her own. She rarely looks at me, and when she does, her eyes are empty of all but strategic assessment. She is a general evaluating a flawed but necessary weapon. Lyran is a constant, sharp thorn in my side. He is always near her, his quiet support a stark contrast to my own blustering failure. He brings her water. He murmurs suggestions in her ear. He stands guard while she rests. His devotion is plain to see, and it fuels a primal, ugly jealousy in me that I struggle to contain. My wolf is a caged beast, snarling every time the rogue's scent drifts too close to our mate. "Kill him," he growls. "She is ours, only ours, but I cannot. To challenge him would be to lose her forever. I have no rights here. I forfeited them all 6 months ago." Her power is a constant, humbling reminder of my foolishness. During one planning session, a dispute breaks out between one of my warriors and one of her unclaimed, a hulking brute with one eye. Growls escalate to snarls. I open my mouth to use my alpha command, to force my wolf to stand down. But Ilara simply raises a hand. She says nothing. She just looks at the one-eyed wolf. The effect is instantaneous. The massive beast, which was seconds from ripping my warrior's throat out, immediately ceases its growling, lowers its head, and backs away, whining an apology. My entire pack stares in stunned silence. She commands loyalty and obedience with a gesture that I must enforce with a shout. The power dynamic is clear for all to see. She is not my equal. She may well be my superior. The days of planning are a slow, grinding attrition of my soul. I see the queen she has become, and the magnitude of what I lost, of what I threw away, becomes more crushing with every passing hour. The regret is a physical weight, a sickness in my gut. I deserve this. I deserve every cold look, every dismissive word. But deserving it does not make it any less agonizing. One evening, after a particularly tense meeting, I see her standing alone at the edge of the clearing, looking up at the moon. Lyran is busy conferring with Marcus. It is my only chance. I have to try. I have to say something, anything, to bridge the frozen chasm between us. My heart hammers against my ribs as I approach her. She does not turn, but I know she feels me coming. The bond between us crackles with tension. "The moon is beautiful tonight," I say, my voice rough. It is a stupid, clumsy opening. She is silent for a long moment. "It is," she finally replies, her voice flat, her eyes still on the sky. I could not see it from the pit. The casual cruelty of her words is a physical blow. It is exactly what I deserve. I flinch, my throat tightening. "Alara, I I told you that is not my name," she says, turning to face me at last. In the moonlight, her eyes are like chips of ice. "What do you want, Kyle?" I need to tell you I am sorry." The words feel small, inadequate, a pebble tossed into a canyon. What I did, it was monstrous. There is no excuse. Not my duty, not my pride. Nothing. It was a failure of my character, my soul. I was a coward, and I was cruel. And I have lived with the consequences of it every single day. I expect her to scoff, to turn away. Instead, she just watches me, her expression unreadable. "And what are those consequences?" she asks, her voice dangerously quiet. "An unstable pack? A few sleepless nights? It seems a small price to pay for attempted murder." "It is more than that," I say, my voice cracking. "I tore my own soul in half when I rejected you. My wolf, he has been punishing me ever since. There is a hole inside me, a constant, aching void where you are supposed to be. I cannot be with another. I cannot find peace. My life turned to ash that night. It is my justice, I know, but it is the truth." For the first time, I see a flicker of something in her eyes, a crack in the ice. The bond between us pulses with a wave of my raw, desperate misery. I let her feel it all. The self-loathing, the endless regret, the suffocating loneliness. She looks away, her jaw tight. "Your pain does not erase mine." "I know," I whisper, taking a hesitant step closer. "I would take it all from you if I could. I would trade places with you. I would spend 1,000 years in that pit if it would undo what I did to you for a single second." We stand in silence, the air thick with unspoken history. The mint and riverstone scent of Lyran approaches. He stops a few feet away, his gaze moving between us. He sees the raw emotion in the air, the undeniable pull of the bond that even he cannot ignore. His face is calm, but I see a deep sadness in his gray eyes. "Alara," Lyran says gently, "it is time to return." She looks at him, and the ice in her eyes melts just a little. She gives him a small, grateful nod. Then she looks back at me, her expression once again guarded and remote. Your apology changes nothing, Kale, she says, her voice firm. We are allies because we must be. That is all. She turns and walks away, Lyran falling into step beside her. I watch them go, a fresh wave of despair washing over me. But as they disappear into the shadows of the forest, I notice that Lyran did not take her arm, and she did not lean on him. It is a small thing, a tiny crack in their united front, but it is enough. It is a sliver of hope, and I know what I have to do. An apology is not enough. Words are meaningless. I have to prove it. I have to earn her forgiveness, even if she never gives it. I have to become the man who is worthy of the queen I see before me. The night before the soulless are predicted to attack, I find her alone again, this time in the heart of my own settlement. She is examining the fortifications we have made to the Great Hall, her expression critical. Her unclaimed guards stand like statues at a respectful distance. This is it. There will be no better time. I walk towards her, my steps heavy with the weight of my purpose. My pack members see me, and they part, their eyes wide with curiosity and apprehension. They know this is more than a strategy meeting. This is a reckoning. She hears me approach and turns, her hand instinctively going to the dagger at her hip. Her eyes narrow. What is it now, Call? Have you found another flaw in our defenses? I stop 10 feet from her. I do not try to get closer. I just look at her, trying to pour every ounce of my sincerity, my remorse, my adoration into my gaze. I am not here to talk about the battle, I say, my voice clear and steady, loud enough for those nearby to hear. I take a deep breath, and then I drop to my knees. A collective gasp ripples through my pack members. Her unclaimed guards tense, their hands going to their own weapons. But she holds up a hand to stop them, her eyes wide with shock. And Alpha does not kneel to anyone. It is the ultimate gesture of submission. What are you doing? She breathes, her voice losing its icy edge for the first time. I am doing what I should have done the moment I realized the goddess had blessed me with you, I say, my eyes locked on hers. I am submitting, not as a tactic, not as a trick, but as the truth. I lower my head, baring the back of my neck to her. It is the most vulnerable a wolf can be, an invitation for a killing blow. It is an act of complete and total trust. My life is yours, Alara. It has been since the moment I met you, even when I was too proud and too stupid to see it. If you wish to strike me down for what I did, I will not stop you. It would be a justice I have earned. The silence is absolute. I can hear the blood pounding in my ears. I can feel the weight of 100 pairs of eyes on me. But the only thing that matters is her. I wait for the sting of a blade or the blow of a fist. I wait for her judgment. Instead, I feel a tremor run through the bond. It is not pain or hatred. It is confusion, turmoil, and a sliver of something so fragile I am afraid to name it. Get up, she says, her voice tight. No, I reply, my head still bowed. Not until you understand. I am not asking for your forgiveness. I have no right to it. I am not asking you to choose me. I am telling you that the choice is and always will be yours. If after this battle is over, you choose to walk away with Lyran, or alone, or to rule your kingdom from the dark, I will accept it. I will not stand in your way. I will spend the rest of my miserable life protecting your borders from the surface. and I will thank the goddess for the few moments I got to be in your presence again. I raise my head, meeting her shocked gaze. I love you, Ilara. I loved you then, and I love you now. I was a boy playing at being an alpha, a cruel, arrogant boy. You have shown me what true strength is. It is not ruthlessness. It is resilience. It is mercy. It is everything you are. I am not asking you to take me back. I am begging you to let me prove that I can become a male, worthy of standing in your shadow. Tears are shimmering in her amethyst eyes. The ice has shattered completely, and I can see the wounded, feeling woman beneath the queen's armor. She is shaken. This, I realize, is the one thing she never expected. Not a demand, not a plea based on the bond, but a complete and total surrender of my power to her. Before she can respond, Lyron steps forward. He walks not to her, but to me. He looks down at me, his face a mixture of pity and respect. Get up, Alpha Kyle, he says, his voice quiet. Then he turns to Ilara. His expression is full of a deep, gentle sorrow. He is right, Ilara. The choice is yours. It always has been. He reaches out and gently touches her cheek. I think I have known, from the moment I saw you look at him, that I was only ever keeping your heart safe until he was ready to earn it. A tear finally escapes and traces a path down her cheek. Lyron, she whispers, her voice thick with emotion. You are a queen, he says, his voice full of admiration. You deserve a king who is your other half, not just a loyal subject. His soul calls to yours. I will not stand between that. I would not diminish you by asking you to accept a love that is true, but second to the one the goddess fated for you. He gives her a sad, beautiful smile. Find me after the battle. If you still want me, I am yours. But do not choose me because you are afraid to choose him. He takes a step back, then another, his gaze lingering on her for a moment before he turns and walks away, his head held high. He leaves us alone in the center of the silent, watching crowd. He has given her the one thing I just offered, freedom, true freedom. He has gracefully and with immense dignity removed himself as an obstacle. Now, there is nothing left between us but the truth, the pain, and the undeniable, earth-shattering power of the bond. The battle for the world is coming at dawn, but the battle for her soul is happening right now. And all I can do is remain on my knees, my fate held entirely in her hands. The air grows cold, the silence stretching until it is thin and brittle. Ilara stands over me, the tears still wet on her cheeks, her expression a maelstrom of conflicting emotions. The entire world seems to be holding its breath, waiting for her verdict. Get up, Kyle, she says again. And this time, her voice is not a command, but a plea. It is soft, trembling, and full of a pain that mirrors my own. I slowly, hesitantly rise to my feet. I feel exposed, my soul laid bare before her and my entire pack. I keep my eyes on her, letting her see the complete surrender in them. There is no pride left in me, only a desperate, hollow hope. Your words, they are what I needed to hear, she whispers, so low that only I can hear her. But words are wind, Kyle. You said it yourself. They are meaningless without action. Before I can respond, a horrifying shriek cuts through the night. It is a sound that does not belong in the natural world, a grating, soul-scraping noise that makes the hair on my arms stand up. From the edges of the forest, the shadows begin to move. They detach from the trees, coalescing into man-shaped forms of pure darkness, their eyes glowing with the malevolent red light. The soulless are here. The battle has begun. To your positions, I roar, my alpha instincts taking over. My warriors snap out of their trance, forming a defensive line, their growls mixing with the terrified whines of their inner wolves. Ilra is already in motion. Unclaimed, with me, she calls out, her voice ringing with power. Her scarred beasts surge forward, meeting the first wave of shadow creatures with a terrifying ferocity. Fangs and claws meet insubstantial darkness, and the soulless dissolve with a shriek, only to reform seconds later. The battle is chaos. The soulless are unlike any enemy we have ever faced. They do not bleed. They do not tire. They only consume, their touch draining the life and warmth from whatever it contacts. A warrior cries out as a shadowy tendril wraps around his arm, leaving it gray and withered. I shift, my human form melting away into the massive black wolf my pack reveres. Protect mate, my beast growls, his purpose singular and absolute. We plunge into the fray, my fangs tearing through the smoky forms of our enemies. But for everyone we destroy, two more seem to rise from the ground. I see her across the battlefield. She has not shifted. She stands like the calm eye of a hurricane, her unclaimed forming a deadly vortex around her. She is not fighting with claws, but with her power. She raises her hands, and a wave of pure, white energy, the energy of life, of command, washes over the battlefield. The soulless in its path scream and disintegrate, their forms unable to withstand the raw, vital force she wields. She is magnificent, a goddess of life against an army of death. But the effort is costing her. I can see the strain on her face, the sweat on her brow. There are too many of them, and they seem to be drawn to her, converging on her position with a terrifying single-minded purpose. A new figure emerges from the horde. It is larger than the others, its form more solid, coalescing into a nightmarish parody of a knight in black armor, a great sword of pure shadow in its hand. This is their leader, and it is heading directly for Ilara. No, my wolf roars. We break from our own fight, bounding across the battlefield, ignoring the lesser creatures that claw at our fur. We have to get to her. The soulless lord is fast. It raises its shadow sword as Ilara sends another pulse of energy, this one weaker than the last. She is tiring. She will not be able to stop it. I will not let it touch her. With a final desperate surge of speed, I leap, not at the creature, but in front of Ilara. I twist my body in midair, putting myself between her and the descending blade. I see her eyes widen in shock and horror. Her lips form my name. Then, unimaginable pain. The shadow sword sinks deep into my shoulder and chest. It is not a clean cut. It is a soul-deep cold, a draining emptiness that extinguishes the fire of my life force. My strength vanishes in an instant. The world grays out at the edges. My wolf cries out, a sound of agony and fading light. And then my massive form collapses, shifting back into my human shape as the last of my energy leaves me. I lie at her feet, the shadow sword dissolving into black smoke, leaving a gaping, dark wound that does not bleed. I can feel my life draining away into nothingness. I look up at her, my vision blurring. This is it. But it is worth it. I have proven it. With my last act, I have shown her. My life for hers. Always. Kyle! Her cry is a sound of pure anguish. She drops to her knees beside me, her hands hovering over my wound, afraid to touch the encroaching emptiness. Tears stream down her face, washing away the last of her queenly mask, leaving only the woman, the mate, who is watching her other half die. The soulless lord looms over us, raising its sword for the final blow. But Ilara is no longer looking at it. She is looking at me. No, she whispers, her voice fierce, resolute. I do not accept this. She looks from my dying form to the soulless lord, and a new power ignites in her eyes. It is not the calm, commanding energy from before. It is a tempest. It is the fury of a goddess whose chosen has been struck down. You chose him, a voice whispers in the back of her mind. Her own inner beast, her prime nature. You chose. Now claim. She leans down, her face close to mine. I choose you, Kale, she says, her voice ringing with the force of a vow. I choose this bond. I choose us. And she kisses me. The moment her lips touch mine, the world explodes. The broken bond, the frayed and fractured thing that has caused us so much pain, snaps into place. It does not just heal, it reforges, stronger than ever, forged in the fires of suffering and sacrifice. A torrent of power, her power, rushes into me. It is the force of life itself, a tidal wave of pure energy that slams into the cold emptiness of the soulless wound. The darkness shrieks and recoils, burned away by her light. My strength returns in a dizzying rush. The wound on my chest knits itself closed, leaving behind only clean, new skin. My wolf, who was fading into silence, roars back to life, his power intertwining with hers. We are no longer two separate beings, Kal and Ilara. We are one soul in two bodies, our strengths magnified, our powers combined. I can feel her unclaimed as if they are my own pack. She can feel the fierce loyalty of my warriors. We rise together, hand in hand, facing the soulless lord. The bond between us is a visible, shimmering cord of silver and gold light. I feel my alpha power surge, no longer tainted by doubt, but purified by her grace. She stands beside me, her own prime authority, a blazing aura of white light. The soulless lord hesitates, its red eyes widening in something that might be fear. It has made a fatal error. It sought to devour two powerful beings. Instead, it has created one god. Together, she says, her voice harmonizing with my own. Together, I agree. We raise our joined hands, our combined power, my storm and her light, his alpha strength and her prime authority, merges into a single, devastating wave of pure creation. It is the roar of 1,000 wolves, the light of a new dawn, the unmaking of all shadows. It washes over the battlefield. The soulless do not just dissolve. They are obliterated, annihilated from existence, their malevolent energy unwritten from the fabric of the world. The clearing is silent, the air clean, the last of the red eyes fading into nothing. The battle is over. We stand in the sudden, peaceful quiet, our hands still clasped, our hearts beating in perfect sync. My warriors and her unclaimed are staring, their expressions a mixture of awe and reverence. They are no longer two packs. They are one, united under the impossible power they have just witnessed. I turn to look at her, my mate, my Luna, my queen. The morning sun is rising, casting its golden light on her face. She looks back at me, her amethyst eyes soft and full of a love that I thought I had lost forever. I love you, I say, my voice thick with emotion. I am so sorry I made you wait for me to be the man you deserve. You were always the man I was fated for, she replies, her hand coming up to cup my cheek. Her touch is electric, a home I never thought I would find again. You just had to fight your way back to him. We both did. She is right. Her journey through the darkness, my journey through regret. It was a path of suffering, but it led us here, to this moment, to being whole. Months later, I stand on the balcony of the Great Hall, my arm wrapped around Ilara's waist. Below us, the two packs mingle as one. The unclaimed, their scars still visible, but their eyes clear and calm, train alongside my Black Moon warriors. Fen, her loyal black wolf, lies at the entrance to the hall, a silent, watchful guardian. Lyran stands with Marcus, laughing at some shared joke. He chose to stay, a loyal beta to his queen and a trusted friend to me. He found his own mate among my pack, a healer who saw the goodness in his soul. Our territory is larger now, stretching from the highest mountain peaks to the deepest, most hidden caves. We rule together. I am the alpha, the sword and shield of our people. She is the prime, their heart and soul. We are not a king and his consort. We are two sovereigns, bound by fate, forged by fire, ruling as equals. Ilara leans her head against my shoulder. Her scent, that intoxicating mix of jasmine, moonlight, and the deep, earthy power of a prime, is my constant peace. The bond between us is a calm, steady river of love and contentment. Do you ever think about it? I ask quietly, my fingers tracing the line of her jaw. The beginning? She is silent for a moment, her gaze on our united pack below. I think about the scars, she says, her voice soft but strong. They remind me of the price we paid. They remind me that forgiveness is not forgetting. It is choosing to build something new on broken ground. She turns her head, her amethyst eyes meeting mine. And what we have built is beautiful. I lower my head and kiss her. It is not a desperate kiss of reunion or a fiery kiss of battle, but a deep, knowing kiss of peace, of home. The scars are there. The memory of the pit, the echo of the rejection, the phantom pain of my own foolish pride. They are part of our story, the dark threads that make the golden tapestry of our love shine all the brighter. We are not perfect. We are not undamaged. We are scarred, but we are whole, and we are eternal. Our suffering was the crucible that burned away everything we were, leaving only what we were always meant to be. One soul, one pack, one future, together.